Good afternoon. Good evening, I'm sorry. Good evening. Thank all of you for being here this evening. Today is January the 18th, 2022. We want to go ahead and read our thought for today. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in a moment of comfort, of convenience, but where he stands in the time of challenge and controversy. That's by Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I'm gonna go ahead and officially call this meeting to order tonight. I'm gonna ask tonight if Commissioner Mason, if you would lead us in our invocation tonight, and Commissioner Edwards, if you would lead us in our pledge tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let us all bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us back to this place one more time. We thank you for all that you've done for us and all that you are about to do. God, we know that you're a God that sits high, but we know that you look low, God, and that you are watching over Newton County, God. And so we just thank you just for being a God that looks over us and watching us. And God, as we move forward in this meeting, as we do business for Newton County, God, we ask that you bring together a level of love and unity so that we can advance this county to the next level, and that it will be all that you have called it to be. God, we thank you once again. We ask that you bless each person under the sound of my voice, even those that are not here. Every citizen in this county, we ask that you bless them and touch them in a mighty way. And we'll be forever grateful and thankful. We give you all the kingdom, honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda tonight. Guys, I seek a motion, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? All in favor? Thank you. It stands 5-0. Next is item number 5, citizen comments. This is an opportunity that we allow citizens to make comments about agenda topics only. You have 3 minutes to do so. You may comment this time. Please state your name and your address for the record, please. Agenda topics only. Thank you. Thank you. Next is the chairman's report. I'm excited today to have with us tonight the MLK Awards Committee, Miss Gail, Reid, Slaton. I'm sorry, Miss Gail Reid Slaton. If you would please come on up. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Guys, these are some great people who are doing great things in the community, and we're going to present them with their award tonight and also their certificate of appreciation from the county. Can you tell us a little bit about the committee and what all you guys do, please?
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Chairman Baines, to the commission, it is my humble privilege as a native of Newton County, I know we're getting to be rare in these parts, born and raised, and privileged to be the 3rd recipient of the Martin Luther King Scholarship to Oxford College of Emory University. It is my special privilege to serve as the chair of this committee. This committee originated in right after the holiday was passed into law under the leadership of the Board of Commissioners, then Chairman, the late Aaron Varner, and also former Commissioner Pastor Harold Cobb. And the event has continued for 37 years, with our most recent event taking place this past Sunday. These past 2 years, because of the pandemic, we have operated virtually, broadcasting via Facebook and or YouTube. So we are very committed to continuing this tradition and we believe that the community appreciates it. A core, a core component of this event is the awarding of awards to individuals in the community who have distinguished themselves in a couple of specific regards. We have three award categories, I'll say. We have the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream Award, which is awarded to an individual who particularly demonstrates a commitment to facilitating peace, diversity, unity, and love throughout the community without a motive of profit or gain, and has a vision for seeing a better Newton County consistent with the dreams of Dr. King. We also have the Trailblazer Award, which is awarded to a long-term resident of Newton County. I should also say both categories should be registered voters because we recognize civic responsibility as a key criterion. But a trailblazer who has distinguished him or herself in the community, particularly again in the realm of advancing peace, unity, diversity, and love, not just in the realm of civil rights, but definitely in ensuring a better community overall. And in 2014, we added the Young Dreamer Award category to recognize students in grades K through 12 who themselves in their own way make a difference, again, advancing the core principles of peace, unity, diversity, and love, especially for those who might not otherwise have someone to advance their cause. So tonight, I would like to present both the 2021 awards. We did not actually get those awards presented to our individuals last year, so I will start with the 2021 awards and then present the awards to the 2022 recipients as well. I believe all of whom are present here tonight. Okay?
I'm gonna come around and present ours at the same time you present yours.
Now, as it happens, and we didn't really discuss this one, Chairman Baines, but last year, the 2021 I Have a Dream Award was presented to the Honorable Chairman himself, Marcello C. Baines. We'll be COVID conscious. Thank you, Chair. Next are the Trailblazer Award recipients for 2021. Long-term members of this community who in fact are sisters, twins, Ms. Chandra Tuggle Mitchell and Ms. Felicia Tuggle Harris.
Thank you. We also, from the Newton County Board of Commissioners, we also want to present you guys a certificate of recognition because of the hard work that you guys do in this community. We're so thankful for you and all the efforts that you make here to keep unity and to help people out. You know, y'all are everywhere, so thank you so much for all you do. Y'all do a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're gonna do a group?
We're gonna do it individual.
Like, that's how it happened, coming out the womb, but not this time. Thank you, and congratulations. Oh, you think, okay.
Yes, it's fine.
you. And they accomplish much for the community, right? And our last 2021 award recipient is our Young Dreamer Award recipient, who is now actually in college, I do believe, at University of Georgia, and has come back with us tonight to receive this award, Ms. Meredith McCrory.
Thank you so much.
We do have a certificate of appreciation for you and all the work that you did here, and I know you're going to come back and do great things here, but hey, go Dogs.
Thank you. Okay, and moving on to the 2022 award recipients. The first award to be presented, again, is the I Have a Dream Award to another longstanding resident of the community who has particularly distinguished herself in service in bridging the generations, both the elder community and the youth community, as a zealous advocate, Ms. Frida K. Reid.
What can you say about this young lady right here? I tell you what, man, she is the mother to so many people. I tell you what, she does so much for this community, for our elderly here, our seniors. She makes sure they have what they need. You know, when we go over to the senior centers, it's just a big smile. You know, every time you go, there's no complaining. It's always we having a good day, and she does so much. I'm excited. My mom over there, and I thought I would never get my mom out the house, and now Ms. Frida can have it. Man, what a blessing. There you go. Congratulations.
And our next recipient, the next award is the Trailblazer Award for 2022. This recipient, though not a native of the county, has been in the county since the late 60s, 1967, coming to the community as a instructor in construction, and during the time that the schools were being integrated as one of the first African-American instructors, and has established a legacy largely behind the scenes, kind of a gentle giant who's just full of wisdom and has been a blessing to all who have crossed his path. So I'll let you look to the paper to see the details on all of our recipients, but just a few words about the person who I grew up across the street from, Mr. Weston M. Brown.
I never thought 27 years ago, when I got kicked out of class, I never thought that I'd be giving you an award, man. Wow. Mr. Brown has done so much for this community. I mean, he has fathered so many kids through school. You wouldn't believe his handprint that he's put in these people and in these kids' lives. I'm so thankful for you. It's because of you that I was able to learn a trade, more than one trade, and I'm just so thankful because of you. You was like a father figure to us, and it's just amazing, and we appreciate you. And can I do this for old time's sake? We appreciate you, B.
And our last category, the Young Dreamer Award, we actually have 2 recipients this year. Our first recipient is someone who is throughout the community serving as a young person, par excellence, just committed to service, and also has a gift for nurturing the bereaved. And that's a special calling. And we know that he will succeed in his dream to have his own funeral home one day, but certainly has made an impact in countless ways. This award is presented to Zion Driscoll.
Zion, man, what can what can I say, sir? Man, you are everywhere. I mean, everywhere. If there's an event that's going on in Newton County, I don't care if it's a funeral. He's here. He's there. He's making sure everything is right. He's making sure people in their right place. And then when you go to the church, man, he out there preaching. I seen him one Sunday. I was like, man, what's Zion? Zion? Oh my God, but man, there's such an anointing on you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the great things that God has for you. And I can't wait to see what you're going to come back to this community and what your name going to be in lights. And I want to be one that witnessed that. Thank you so much.
And our last award recipient, the second Young Dreamer Award recipient for 2022, is a 9th grader who was characterized as having a heart the size of Georgia, and just being an individual who excels academically and athletically in the community, in her service, and as an equestrian. This award is presented to Ms. Leah Lang.
Hello. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've heard so many wonderful things about you. I got some kids that are in college that I may need you to tutor. Yeah. I heard that you are the one to do it. So look, I'm excited about the things that I heard about you. We're looking forward for you going off to college and doing great things and coming back here to Newton County and making a great impact on this community. So I'm so grateful for the things and the compliment that you're making here. Amen.
And that concludes our award presentation. Thank you so much, commissioners, for the time to present these awards. Thank you, Chairman Baines, for allowing us time in your report to present these awards, and in prior years for recognizing MOK Award recipients. So we thank you.
Thank you so much. Come on, y'all, we can do better than that. Come on, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Next, we have an update from the JDA. Ms. Sarah.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. Good evening. I'll pass out. Okay, great. I know we're quick on time, so I will be quick. In your packet, I have for you tonight quarter report 3 and 4. I just wanted to ensure that 3 got in there. I believe we were in the mix of 3 and we spoke about 3, but I want to make sure you have 3 plus quarter report 4 as well too. And so a couple of things that I want to share with you, and again, quickly going into this, is that I think we all know the JDA's been very busy. We've been very busy at the end of the year since the time that we have last seen each other of last year. The Joint Development Authority, in partnership with the state of Georgia, has announced a new company that is heading our way into the 4-county region, and that company is Rivian Automotive. They're looking to go in the joint area out on exit 101, but on the north side. And in report 3 and quarter report 2, we mentioned it was called Stanton Springs North. The JDA had started to purchase property and a continuation of that site here now. And so there are some details and some facts on page 2 and report 4 about the project specifically and other pieces, and I'm happy to field any questions. I do want to turn your attention to report in the item number 3 in your packet. This is actually some great news, and I know that some of y'all love to look at tax money in details, is that this is the tax dollars of the payout coming from Takeda this upcoming year. And so we have some details and numbers coming back together, and so page 3, if you can look at that, down at Newton County BOC, fire in our school system, Newton County looks to take back in a little bit over $1.2 million from tax allocations from Takeda this upcoming year. And so I felt like it was important to share this with you tonight and be able to place this back in here for you today. I do have 2 quick slides. Brian, if you'll go. Oops. Slide 1 is in correspondence, and again, going back to the Rivian project and others, just a layout of the land of what we have in availability in and around our area and what is ownership. And the site to the north is what the JDA purchased earlier this year, and then again, a continuation of the new Rivian site. Technically, the Rivian site is not technically within Newton County at all in property, but it is a part of the joint partnership. And the next slide. So this slide, and I'd be happy to share back, but I know specifically we get asked, and Commissioner Henderson, you've often asked us about how many people and how many workers come here. So just a couple of quick facts, and we're happy to share this with you more in depth if requested and further go into, but currently in Newton County, we have a little over 113,000 people in population. We have 49,297 people that are above the age of 18, which is considered to be a worker currently in Newton County. So almost half of people. There are right now in Newton County 29,404 jobs available for full-time workers. Now that doesn't include part-time, but full-time jobs in Newton County. So Commissioner Henderson, you asked the question about how many people stay and how many people remain in Newton County. And looking at this, every day we have approximately 19,893 people that leave Newton County every day to go to work for a full-time job. We are going to start a new campaign. You've met some of my colleague, Asher Dozier, that's in our office, on a campaign called Stop the Commute. We want to stop workers, stop being able to, that 19,000, start coming into our community for more jobs that we are partnership with the Joint Development Authority and others that we can grow, that 19,000 can stay at home and go to work. The heaviest blue populated area up there in Newton County, these are our zip codes, shows you that a lot of people, predominantly in the area, probably District 2 and District 5, leave Newton County every day to go to work and go to Atlanta, or even Rockdale, or even Morgan County the other way. But we want to change that model and be able to turn those people around, have more of the 49,000 people coming to work here in our area. And then as requested, we have also targeting in, this is a high level number, but we're driving this number in to know exactly which industries are employing this many people in the 40,000 and where they come from and where they live. So I wanted to share that with you tonight. And then again, answer any questions that you have. Again, I wanted to provide you too the timing. And then lastly, I also wanted to share with you that I do appreciate Commissioner Sanders. It was great to see you at the public meeting, and thank you for attending. There was a public meeting that was separate for the Rivian project, that was separate from any JDA function, and it was asked by the owners, but I appreciate you attending, and thank you for doing so, and just offer my service. I'm here to answer any questions, but thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanders.
Sarah, I just have one question in regards to Rivian or any project that goes through the JDA or IDA board. As you know, the public doesn't know which projects goes through the Board of Commissioners and which projects goes through the JDA, IDA. So once Rivian was announced, I know I did, I can't speak for anybody else, found out with the public.
Sure.
But the commissioners got blamed for everything. So is there a process to where that the IDA and JDA can inform the commissioners before it hits the press? Because our constituents are gonna question us and we have no information, have no idea about any of the businesses that stand spraying.
Yeah, great question, and thank you for that, Commissioner Sanders. So oftentimes, again, we have representatives on the board that, again, can inform and have others. A lot of times, we, even as the development authorities, are not really informed when they want to make an announcement that they're ready to share, that they're coming out. And so oftentimes, we kind of feel somewhat left out on those measures as well, too, about when really they're going to share that they've signed a lease or that they've decided. We still have to go through a lot of process points with Rivian specifically. We have to get through rezoning and the acquisition of land. And so them coming forward and announcing that they're looking here as like a company targeting and saying that we're coming to the area, but we still have rezoning opportunities to move forward and do so. We do our best to try to make sure that we're in an awareness, but as you can imagine, that's very difficult in knowing exactly when a company per se is ready to release those efforts. But
No, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna, I was just gonna
Okay.
say, but I appreciate that, and I'd love to work with you about a way and a mechanism to be able to field some of those comments sooner, and that we have that ability to do so.
Just a suggestion, because I know it was announced about when you guys went and did the ribbon cutting. Because
Yes.
some of my board members on the water board attended, and they
Yes.
told me, that's how I
Yes.
found out. So in that instance, can we get some information? Because I even had people in other counties that, why wasn't the Board of Commissioners even at the ribbon cutting? I was like,
Yeah.
I had no idea about it. So if we can be informed of items, so when it hits the press and our constituents blame us for something that we have no idea what's going on, it's better to help us so we can provide that information.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Yeah. You want me to say it? You want to say it? I think the reason why the commissioner wasn't invited because the governor, who created the list? The invite list?
Yes. The governor said, is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Most time, if my memory serves me right, most time that I know this board, and I am a part of this board, we are typically, somewhat asked, well, we got some great ideas and stuff coming on. We can't tell y'all, and we just want you to kind of trust us and just give us a blank check. And typically, that's exactly what we do, because we don't know what companies are coming and what properties. Now, it's different from prior boards. Prior boards would share with the commissioners, and one of the things that was said, so well, you go out and tell somebody. And so the question that I posed was, who told what? And typically, it's nobody told nobody nothing. It was just something that was just said. And so we rely on is what our constituents, what Commissioner Sanders had stated, come back and tell you. So one of the things that I want to ask, because it's somewhat secretive, what property is probably being bought or how it's being bought. A few of my friends and constituents who attended that particular meeting said there was a couple of people who had bought property, and that they made money from it, and so I'm just trying to figure out. And so I'm just old-fashioned old man. Just go straight to the source. And what they came back and what they told me, they said that there was some property that you had owned and that you had sold to, what's the name of that big company, battery company you just mentioned? What's the name?
The Rivian.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
fair?
So I just want to just go straight to the source and ask that question. Is that true? I mean, is anything to that? I didn't believe it, but I would want to ask you.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. Not to my knowledge of any sort. I mean, I don't own any property in or around that area, if you're asking me specifically or anybody on the board, but no, sir, not at all. I have zero.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
7:30, we have to go into zoning. I'll bring you back up because
No,
Commissioner
listen. Oh, you do.
Mason have a question. But this is
Thank you.
7:30, guys. It's time for us to go in our zoning. Ms. Judy, if you would, please come on up.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners.
Good evening.
As point of order, would we begin with old business? I know it's listed under old business, but that is a zoning case, so is that where I should begin?
Yes, you can.
Okay. The first item before you this evening is old business. This was tabled from our December 7th, 2021 meeting. It is a conditional use request to operate a commercial retail that's greater than 5,000 square feet. The location is at the corner of Brown Bridge and Kirkland Road with the addresses of 11368, 11388 Brown Bridge Road, and 28 Kirkland Road. Again, this is in Commissioner District 2. We did get a resolution as to whether or not the public hearing had been met at our last meeting, and the public hearing was met at the last meeting. Here is an aerial photograph showing the 3 parcels that were are under consideration. Here's the existing zoning map showing that they are commercial general. The overlay tier map showing they're located in Tier 2 of the Almond overlay. And this is the Commissioner District map showing that, yes, this is in District 3, and District 4 is actually on the other side of the road. This is a conceptual plan that staff had proposed to move some parking spaces. Should the board approve this, that would give it a better layout. The history on the project, it went to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did table it for a traffic study. It came back to the Planning Commission on November 16th, of which it was recommended for approval with staff's conditions by a vote of 5-0. Then on December 7th, as I mentioned before, the board did request to table this so they could hold a community meeting. I believe that community meeting was held. The applicant's intent, again, is to establish a retail store, which would be 10,640 square feet. The site is surrounded by commercially established businesses such as restaurants, grocery stores, convenience stores, a daycare, and a funeral home. Conclusion, should this petition meet the standards of Division Section 450 of the 2020 Unified Development Ordinance of Newton County, it may be appropriate at this site. Staff recommends, should the Board of Commissioners approve the conditional use request, that the approval be with recommended conditions listed below. Recommended conditions. Should this petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved for a conditional use permit for a retail establishment greater than 5,000 square feet in the Almond Overlay Tier 2, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. 1, to the owner's agreement to abide by the following development standards and regulations. 1, to provide a deceleration lane on Kirkland Road at the entrance of the commercial development to be approved by the Department of Development Services. 2, prior to the issuance of any building permits, the owner shall obtain a minor plat showing the new commercial lot configuration. 3, plans, plats submitted must meet the requirements of the ordinance/regulations and be approved by the Department of Development Services. 4, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant will submit architectural elevations of all 4 sides of the proposed buildings, indicating exterior treatment for the approval by the Director of Development Services. Structure shall meet all the requirements of the Salem, actually that's Alman overlay. All activities for retail establishment shall be carried on entirely within the enclosed building, except for an ice machine that is allowed to be situated on the exterior front walk of the building. 6, no outside storage allowed on the property, and no merchandise allowed to be displayed outside of the building, except for the ice machine that is allowed to be situated on the exterior front walk of the building. 7, upon request for the business license, new or renewal, the company shall provide a local registered agent annually to be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of the property. This registered agent would also be subject to code enforcement processes to cure any regulated violation on the property should one be reported and founded as a violation of code. 8, provide an additional landscaping, screening, and fencing plan for the detention pond area to be approved by Development Services. 9, provide a wooden privacy fence along the northern side of the property line that adjoins the Georgia Power Line easement. Said fence will be double-sided with no framing members/rails visible to either side of the fenced area. It shall have a minimum of 3 horizontal framing members for support in each section and shall be maintained structurally sound. Installation of the fence may require moving 12 parking spaces, creating 2 rows of parking on the building side facing Kirkland Road. 10, provide additional landscaping along the northern side of the property where it adjoins the privacy fence. Landscape plan to be approved by the Department of Development Services. And the next slides is just the rendering and the site layout of the proposed development.
Thank you. Ms. Judy?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to call for a motion. Commissioner Sanders, I think this is in your district, District 3. I seek a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, before I do that motion, I just want to inform the public that there was a community meeting on January 6th where we had citizens that participated and also was streamed online. So we had hundreds of those in District 3 that actually expressed, and the citizens also did an email campaign to all of the commissioners. And so some of the information that they proposed in this, well not proposed, they stated was the traffic conditions at this intersection are congested and there are no plans to add a traffic light. There's a Dollar General located less than 1 mile away on Salem Road. Dollar General has a culture of a lack of quality customer service and ample security. In less than 5 years, the Dollar General on Salem Road has experienced at least 1 robbery, and the location on Highway 81 has experienced at least 2. There's a community store, Bell's Grocery, which has provided convenience, low-cost service directly across from the proposed Dollar General. And so the citizens, I'm a commissioner that listens to my citizens and those who actually voted me in, and they live in the community. And just to also express, just on Fairview Road alone, the income of those individuals are from $65,000 to $75,000, and some making 6 figures. So they love growth. They want to have growth, but they want to have stores that are in their area that fits them and that what they want in the area where they live. So in regards to what my neighbor stated for that community, I am making a motion to deny the conditional use permit, case number CUP 21-00005.
Is there a second? It's been motioned by Commissioner Sanders and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any more discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Stand denied, 5-0.
Yes, sir. The next item and final item before you this evening, it would be new business, and it's consideration of Resolution R011822A. This is a resolution of Newton County Board of Commissioners extending until April 19th, 2022, an existing moratorium on the acceptance of applications of zoning petitions and preliminary plat/concept plan petitions for new residential development. In this particular resolution for extension, there was two options presented. Option A would extend the current moratorium until April 19th, 2022, to give staff time to complete the proposed amendments in the timeline proposed. The change in this resolution from the last one adopted would be to allow already approved preliminary plats to petition the Planning Commission for an extension of that preliminary plat. There are about 26 current developments that meet this category and already have infrastructure and road network developed. This does not include any brand-new raw land projects that have never been approved. So just to make sure you understand which ones, these would have been formal plans that had been brought to the Planning Commission sometime in the past, but for whatever reasons, they failed to get a final plat issued to them. So there's a section in our ordinance that would allow for someone to apply for an extension to the Planning Commission, but it didn't have a time period. It didn't say you can apply 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It just said you can apply for an extension. So this would allow those developments. We have one in District 2, which is Crescent Place. It's almost a completely developed subdivision. It just doesn't have a final plat. I think it may be District 1, Jacks Creek. That is one that has all the infrastructure in it. So anyway, it would allow those to move forward. In option B, it would include allowing the preliminary plats that had been formally approved before to ask for extension, and it would also allow for development of one home per 2-acre lot to move forward to the Planning Commission with the request for a preliminary plat. This is similar to what I believe we may have discussed last year in a work session. The amendment timeline. The work session, we have requested a work session for Tuesday, February 1st at 6 p.m. We will be bringing items before you pretty much to try to seek guidance and see where you want us to go with the amendments. Then we've asked for a work session on February the 15th at 6 p.m. to bring back all that information to you in the proposed amendments. And then with the approval of the BOC to move forward, we would go to the Planning Commission Tuesday, February the 22nd for the first public hearing, and then on to the Board of Commissioners on March 15th for the second public hearing and potential adoption. And yes, in case anybody was wondering, we are completing the comprehensive plan this year to better define our types of growth zoning and uses to be placed. So this evening, staff is requesting the board to, if you do not choose an option to extend the moratorium, the current moratorium will expire tonight, which would allow development to move forward. So we have, again, option A, which would be just to allow, raw land cannot move forward. It would be allowing just the preliminary plats that may have formally been approved but not got a final plat. Or option B would be allow the preliminary plats as well as if a development had a 2-acre, one home per 2-acre density.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, I seek a motion.
We do need to, this is public hearing.
You
We
need to
would-
open this
yes,
one
sir.
up?
Sorry,
Okay.
my
Okay.
apology for
Okay.
interjecting.
Okay, I'm sorry. Guys, this is approximately 7:45. We want to open it up for the applicant. Well, the applicant is the county, so those that want to speak in favor tonight, you have 10 minutes to do so. Those that want to speak in favor tonight, please state your name, your address for the record, please. Those that want to speak in favor tonight, you have 10 minutes to do so. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. No, that's community. No. Yeah. Thank you. Anytime you open it up for the public, it's a public, for the chance for the public to speak. Those that want to speak in favor tonight. That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that want to oppose tonight. You may come at this time. You have 10 minutes also. Please state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone want to oppose tonight? Anyone want to oppose tonight? Anyone want to oppose tonight? Thank you. That portion of our public hearing is closed. I think Commissioner Edwards had his hands up first. You want to ask a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judy, option A and option B do those qualified properties under both options, would it include properties that have changed ownership?
Yes, sir, as long as they as long as it was an approved preliminary plat, it would be able to move forward, or if it was a new development at that 2-acre, 1-home minimum.
Okay. And one other question for the public, can you state why we're having discussions, or why we've been in that state of a moratorium in the recent past? Can you state for the public why we've been in that position in the recent past?
We had recognized at the beginning of last year that our ordinance does not meet the needs of the development that we are now seeing. We've recognized that there is infrastructure such as Commissioner District 3 mentions to us all the time. We need to evaluate our road networks. We need to evaluate where our fire stations are. We need to evaluate how many entrances are best for a good planned development. We need to evaluate, do we need interconnectivity? And our ordinance at this time is silent over a lot of these good planning measures that make less of an impact when you're dropping X amount of houses on a spot of land. So last year we went through the moratorium trying to get these developments in front of the board, but with COVID and with all the other items that you've had to deal with as a board, staff was not able to get the work sessions in. So that is why we have set a timeline, and we're requesting the board to be able to listen to our amendments, hopefully be able to get some direction and pass the amendments, so then we can make a decision as a community, what kind of development do we want and what do we want that development to look like.
Thank you. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How many possible bigger, larger tracts in New County do we have that may, that they pay taxes on? Or get an idea?
I did provide some information. I don't have it with me this evening, but I can push back out the maps, because we did have GIS pull our tracts of land that was 20 acres or better, 50 acres or better, or 100 acres or better. And I can certainly, and we broke them down by district, so I can certainly get that to you, but off the cuff, I wouldn't be able to tell you that number this evening.
So the way we are moving is that the people who may own those tracts, or people who may inherit those tracts of property, they pay taxes on them, but yet, if they wanted to sell it in order to make more money, and typically somebody wants to build something, build houses, et cetera, then they couldn't sell them. They just have to hold on to it and continue to pay taxes. Or do we buy it from them, the county, buy it from them and pay them for their property?
Well, Commissioner, I will say that this proposal to extend the moratorium has an end goal date. Our goal is to get the amendments adopted by March by this board, after doing public hearings and doing work sessions, and then anyone who owns those tracts of land would be able to move forward based on the amendments that would be adopted by this board. Or if the board decides the current ordinance is sufficient, then we will move forward with the current ordinance. So it is, while I understand that there are people who may want to move forward immediately, I do not believe that less than 120 days will drastically change whether or not someone's property, because property is prime right now. So if the one person doesn't want it, someone else will be coming along.
No doubt, but I just, myself personally, and I represent mostly in town, half of the city of Covington, the town of Alfred, and some unincorporated area, which is not a whole lot. I just, I believe, at least I thought I believe, probably still do, believe in good growth. And good growth is that when you look at the entire community, sometimes there's compromises that we should make in order to accommodate the folks who may have some property. I just think we just can't. I don't believe the government should be taking a person who have a larger tract of property and saying, well, you can't build on it or you can't sell it.
Well, they do have the right to build.
But yet we have for taxes.
Yes, sir. Well, we've not prohibited them the right to build. If it's a single tract, they can come in with a single proposal. But if they're wanting to subdivide the property, then that would be land that would be subject to, if this board decides this evening to extend the moratorium.
Thank you, Ms. Judy.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm looking for a motion tonight. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the extension of the moratorium with the option of Plan B, that 1 home per 2 acres can be processed at this time. I do believe some relief is needed, but in order for the county to develop their regulations a little more detail and prepare for the future, I would make a motion that we adopt option B as stated by the Planning and Zoning Director.
Thank you. Is there a second? Oh, thank you, sir. It's been motion by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? It passes 4-1. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sarah, if you would, could you come back up for a quick question, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Sarah, for bringing this update to us.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier about the 19,893 workers that are currently leaving Newton County, going to other counties to work. Yes. And I love the idea of the Stop the Commute campaign. I think it's phenomenal. What I wanted to ask is, do we have, and this may be something that's coming in the future, do we have a specific strategy that we're going to work on? For example, do we know what type of jobs those 19,893 individuals currently have to ensure that we're providing those same type of jobs or similar type of jobs with the same or similar salaries here in Newton County? Have we kind of already begun to delve into that yet?
Sure. Thank you so much for your question, Commissioner Mason. And partly yes, and it's an ongoing process for the new year that we're working on. So one of the things that we do is annually we do a wage and benefit study with our industries. And so we survey the market to really understand. Again, I think the county does that often in surveying and understanding that. So again, those are pieces. We are also having a facilitation with the University of Georgia Carl Vinson Institute, with Georgia Piedmont Technical College and our school system, and us as the development authority to go through those so we can categorize each of those pieces and set a strategy around it. But that is the next step, is to really identify that 19,000. What skills do they have? What skills do they not have? And where can we tag them in to improve to be able to get the skills needed to be able to service, or convince them and show them that the same skill set that you're using, you could have a job here in Newton County. And I hear you often say, come to the board meetings. Well, if you're driving an hour and a half in Atlanta, but you can have the same skill set working here in Newton County, get off work and come to a board meeting, that makes a lot better of a home life than being able to drive. So you're right on target. That is the next step, and those are things that we're evaluating and where we're going.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And if I can be of any assistance, please feel free to let
Oh,
me know.
we will be asking you all. Watch out, we will be asking you all. And then lastly, I just want to say, as the chairman said, I apologize for my voice, been screaming a lot, go Dogs. And for Horace out here, Mr. Stroud is an Auburn fan, so it's a sad day, but go Dogs. And so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Guys, next we're gonna bring up Dwayne Mass and the Miracle League Board. Guys, if y'all come on up, please. Thank y'all for being
Mr.
here
Chairman,
tonight.
good evening, good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I want to take just a few minutes, and I appreciate giving us a little bit of time tonight. We've got the opportunity as Parks and Rec and the Miracle League of Newton County to bring an event to Newton County that we're very excited about. 6 or 7 years ago, the Miracle League started hosting all-star weekends for their players. And we've got the opportunity to host that coming up in 2024. So we're here tonight to share a little bit about what that would look like and ask for y'all's support moving forward as we make plans to host this. We're going to show a quick video here in just a second. Sarah's going to come up. Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry, Olivia. See, Sarah messed me up talking about Horace. Olivia's going to share with you. She had the opportunity to go out to Houston in November to be a part of their weekend and see how they done things. And we actually had a couple of kids from our program that went out and participated. So she's going to show you, ask or share what that weekend looks like. Mike Hopkins is our chairman of our Miracle League Board, and Mike's going to speak, and I'll come back and wrap it up. And also, Horace and Gail here. Horace is over our athletic programs, and Gail's our assistant director. And kind of as a group, we've been kind of looking at this since September. And so we're going to show a quick video, and then Olivia's going to share right quick.
Hello, Board. As he said, my name is Olivia Miller. I have the honor and privilege to run the Miracle League here in Newton County. I just wanted to say thank you for your time and thank you for having us here today. Like he said, I got the opportunity to go to Houston, Texas in November, and as they hosted the Miracle League National All-Star Game there and kind of experience a little bit about what the weekend is about. The way it kind of runs is Friday, you have all of your families from all over the United States and a couple other countries that come in, and you have a meet and greet. So basically that's for the families and the players. They get their goodie bags, they get their uniforms, and then you host a meet and greet. And then Saturday is your games, your league games all day long. And then Saturday night you have a gala. And then Sunday we would do our league games, Newton County Leagues games. And then you have an award ceremony also. So we are responsible as Newton County for covering all of their costs, which is their hotels, their transportation, the food, everything for the entire weekend. These families, due to the children that they have and some of the disabilities that their children have, unfortunately, they don't get a lot of opportunity to take vacation, so this is like a vacation for them. They come, they don't have to worry about anything because we've taken care of everything. It was a really awesome experience. We would be responsible for hosting around 114 players and then their families, so it would be about 500 people in total who would come. We really think it's a really great opportunity. We have a lot of people who are interested in supporting us. We just need your all support, please. And then we also would need a letter of intent signed, just saying that you intend to support us in any way, whether that's volunteers, whether that's financially, whether that's, just saying, yes, we have the opportunity to do this. So that's just a little bit about the weekend, and then we'll have night talk.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you so much for letting us come here tonight on an important topic. As chairman of the Friends of the Miracle League committee, we are fully committed behind this. So it's not alone. We're just not coming here asking just you to help us. We're going to have the support of the whole community. Our board of directors are committed to following through and making sure that this is the best event ever. Yeah. And certainly it will be a great showcase and a good way for our community to get national recognition. And so we're really excited. And I want to talk to you from a father who has 3 special needs kids. We started playing Miracle League ball in Rockdale in 1998. And then they got their field, their Miracle Field in 2000. So pushing wheelchairs through the grass and through the mud and everything went away with a nice AstroTurf field, and it made the experience even more enjoyable. And then in 2015, Newton County was gracious enough to provide us with a Miracle League field for us to play ball. And if you've ever want to have some real inspiration and excitement, come out and be a part of that experience, because these kids get so excited, and it just really makes their year. Yeah. And so as a father, I appreciate what the county has done in constructing the field here in Newton County, and it's an awesome complex. I've been around the country looking at several of them. We've got a top-notch facility, and I think part of the All-Star experience will allow us to enhance that and make it even better for our community. So thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Guys, I want to just say thank you for what you do. This is very near to me, having a 19-year-old at home who absolutely love going outside and running and enjoying the outside, being able to play with a ball means the absolute world to him. And so I thank all of you for what you do. This is something that is very important. And I definitely ask this board to support this 100%. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there an act other than needing a signature, a letter of intent for this?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
And I'll add one more thing if I could real quick. We had a Zoom call with Houston back early part of November and talked with them about, the pros, the cons, the challenges that they had hosting this. And with us going back and forth as to, what we felt and how we wanted to do it, we asked the lady there, would she do it again? And she got really emotional and told us, she said, I'd do it tomorrow. And she said when that first bus pulled out with those kids on it and police was leading them out to the park and all the kids was hollering on the bus, she said, I would take nothing for it. She said, I'd do it again tomorrow. So we appreciate y'all's time, and we'll be back asking. We're going to need volunteers along with other things. One thing Olivia did mention is we've gotten one donation already, so it's going to cost us about $150,000 to host the weekend. There's not anything in it for the Parks and Rec or the Miracle League Board, but I do think it's something big that this community can come together and really show these families a lot of love. And one thing, the lady from Houston told us that their ages run from 4 to 71. And our league runs from 4 to about 48 is our oldest that we have participating. So thank y'all for your time tonight. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, sir. And I do believe we got members on this board that will volunteer their time and help out with the efforts. So thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, and lastly, I want to thank our road department, Public Works. They had 23 calls of roadways being blocked. They answered all the calls, had 25 tons of salt mix, treating bridges and the roadways, 2,500 pounds of chloride was put out on the roads, 5 salt crews, 4 salt trucks worked Sunday into Monday, and they started preparing for this on last Thursday. And so I want to send a shout out to them, thank them for all the time and the efforts they put in, making sure this community is safe. And we do know that there's threat of another storm that may be coming this weekend, and they are definitely prepared for that. So thank you so much. I seek a motion for the approval of the consent agenda. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Pass 5-0. Next is our monthly financials. Ms. Brittany.
Good evening. Tonight I will be presenting the December 2021 financials. December is our 6th month of our fiscal year, so that puts us 50% through fiscal year 2022. I'll start with our general fund revenues. Our revenues to date for the general fund are $24.4 million, so that puts us at 31.47% of our revenues. And these graphs show our revenues based on each month of the year and then our actuals to projected. Our general fund expenditures for the year, we're at $34.9 million, which puts us at 44.74% of our actual to budget, so we're trending a little under that 50% in our expenditures, which is good for the year. And these graphs show our monthly expenditures for each year of the 2022, and then the graph below shows our actuals to budgeted for the year. And our total for the year, so right now our revenues are 10.4% under our expenditures. So this is an important graph right here to show you why fund balance is important, because at this time in the year we're 10.4 million in our revenues under. So what supports us to be able to pay our bills throughout the year when our revenues do trend like that is our fund balance. And that's basically because we're waiting on our tax revenues to come in. And for our enterprise funds, our to date, our water fund, we're at 5.1 million in revenues and 2.9 million in expenses. Our solid waste fund, we're at 3.9 million in revenues and 2.4 in expenses. And then our Gaithers and Factory Shoals fund, we're at 140,000 in revenues, and then expenditures were in 90,978. And the graphs below show our actuals to budget. We currently still have two SPLOST open. We have one more project to finish in the 2011 SPLOST, and we'll wrap that up, and that's the historic jail project. And as of December, we are now fully collected in our 2017 SPLOST. So we collected about a year and a half early than what our projections were. So that means from now until the end of the collections for the SPLOST, everything will go to excess collections. And this shows our, this is the collections per month, so you can see we're at 65.5 in collections, so that puts us at almost 17 million over what we budgeted. And this is our impact fee fund, and we currently have 4 million in our impact fee funds, and that wraps up the presentation, so I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Brittany. Any questions, guys? Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. All right. Next, we have our family connection, Ms. Laura Bertram. And Dr. Sams is here with her as well. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Well, listen, we are just honored to be before you, and we thank you all for your time. Before we actually talk about why we're here for the fiscal agent, which is on the document I gave you that's green, you've been talking about our workforce development and keeping Commissioner Henderson jobs for people at home. This is the work that we do in partnership with the school system, and Dina Sams has sat on the board probably since 2009. She is Director of After School and Community Relations for the Newton County School System, and she can add a lot to what we're doing through in the community to strengthen the families that live here.
Okay. I just wanted to just speak very quickly to just one of the initiatives that that we partner with the Family Connection, and that is our after-school services here in Newton County, and the importance of the county continuing to be fiscal agent for the partnership. Just through our initiative with Family Connection, we've been able to bring in about $3 million in after-school services here in Newton County, and that has to do with our partnership with the community partnership. We do have to have a community partner as a part of our grant, and the Family Connection has stood with us in order to receive those funds. So that's just one of the initiatives that is offered through the Family Connection, but there are many others, such as the workforce development that Laura just mentioned. So I just wanted to just kind of mention that to you so that you know the importance of why we need to keep the county as the fiscal agent for Family Connection.
And why the schools are in partnership with Georgia Piedmont and Georgia Perimeter and us, we work in the community. We also serve as a liaison between a lot of those organizations so that we can no child is educated in isolation. And so what we're trying to do is strengthen the whole family. So
thank you.
I want to say that Commissioner Sanders, thank you for serving on the board of the Family Connection Board. And Commissioner Henderson, I was thinking, you're the one who's been with us since the very beginning. So you get it more than most of where we are in the community, and I want to thank you for that service. And we're just glad to be here tonight, and I want you to see on the back page that we gave you is the work that we do. And at the very bottom is the School Success Initiative, and it involves the entire family. It also involves all school systems and educational systems, including what goes on through the Miracle League, what goes on through the rec department, what goes on through the Boys and Girls Club. And the Family Connection wrote the first grant to bring the Miracle League to Newton County. We wrote the first grant for the Boys and Girls Club, and we started the volunteer initiative, Hands on Newton, in 2008, which was the first time that Newton County had an MLK Day of Service, which we actually continued this year virtually because of COVID, and we're working primarily with youth to get their voices on how they want to see this community grow and how they think we should address trauma and education for our kids. So it's an exciting time to be part of the partnership. It's an exciting time to be in partnership with you. But we operate, there is one Family Connection in every county in the state of Georgia, and every county is tasked with making a collaborative. The county government is a collaborative partner, and your job as fiscal agent, your job is to manage and strengthen the infrastructure of our county, our living environment, and safety for its citizens. Family Connection is responsible to advocate for and strengthen the families that live in the county. Through its partnership with the Newton County Family Connection, the Newton County Board of Commissioners has chosen the most cost-effective way to ensure that all families are represented in planning and that the coordination of health and human services is facilitated in an equitable and efficient manner.
And that, for every dollar that comes to us, which is $48,000 you serve as the fiscal agent for only those state funds, you are supporting three full-time staff members and the work we do. So we thank you for being that level of extra security between us and the state.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for what you do. Guys, I seek a motion, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor?
Before we vote, I'm glad you mentioned that I was actually on the board, and I did consult with our attorney to make sure that I was in compliance before voting, and he did state that I was in compliance, so I can vote tonight. Just want to put that out as for transparency.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. It passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
for what you do.
Thank you. Next is item number 11. Our district attorney here tonight, Mr. Ranley McGinley, to make a presentation about the ARPA funds.
Evening, Chairman and Commissioners. This is about ARPA funds regards to, obviously I was before, I think it was in December when we addressed some of the ARPA funds that the county got. That wasn't the only source of funds that I was seeking after. So essentially the court system, the state received a large chunk of ARPA money as well to address the backlog in the court. I know I've been before y'all and discussed that, and I can go into more detail if you want, but those applications had to be done by circuit, not by county. And it had to be submitted by the chief judge, which is Judge Ott, and I worked with him, and I appreciate his efforts in doing this, and requested through the state, essentially the AOC, which is the Administrative Office of the Courts, is the one administering all this. We asked and received funding for it's refundable, which means obviously once the expenses are paid, then we get the money back. And I'll explain some of the logistics with that. I know Ms. Brittany's well aware of it as well. Requested a position for an investigator and investigative assistant, and some supply costs for each county. That was approved through the AOC and those ARPA funds. And the investigator for a full year, now that is a calendar year, not a fiscal year. It is for year 2022, was $80,131. The investigative assistant was $62,141, and then they only can approve, apparently per their guidelines, $5,000 worth of equipment and supplies, and that was what was granted here for Newton County. Very similar request. There's just a little bit of difference between the sort of employment costs between the two counties, but very similar between the two counties. So a total of $144,772 was awarded for what will be going to Newton County. Now that is going to be administered through Walton County. Ms. Brittany has been working with Mr. Milton Kronheim over in Walton County, who's the finance director over there. It's going to be administered through them. So essentially those positions, once I am able to hire into those positions, they will be paid by the county. We will then submit the costs to Walton County. Walton County do the same thing and submit everything to AOC, get the money back, and submit it back to the county. So that's sort of the first part of the request. I know Ms. White, I think, wasn't sure if that even needed to have board approval or not, but I just want to make sure that you all were aware that I've been seeking funding for additional positions that I had asked about previously for the county ARPA money, and got that approved through the state for a 1-year refundable grant, or reimbursable, I think is the right term. The other sort of, I don't know if caveat's the right word, but it's doubtful that we'll actually spend that entire amount of money. It is for the calendar year of 2022, and it ends December 31st, no matter when you hire somebody. Obviously, we're already, 2-3 weeks in, so we're probably not going to ever get to that total amount that was awarded. That is a grant that can be reapplied for up to a total of 3 years. However, I'll tell you is what AOC has done is their plan was to award 50% of their total amount in year 1, 25% in year 2, and 25% in year 3. So I don't know if that funding will be available going forward. So I guess for that first part of the request, I don't know if like I said, I'm not sure if I need board approval for accepting that reimbursable grant or not, but if I do, I'm asking for that. As I said, Walton County's already approved their end, and it'll all run through Walton County. And as I said, Ms. Brittany and Mr. Milton over in Walton are well aware of this and understand the logistics of it.
Let's get board approval just in case.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Commissioner, can I seek a motion, please? Can I get a second? Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the money we take from ARP fund, is that from the 10 million?
No, this funding is separate from any of the ARPA money that the county has received.
Okay.
This is all from ARPA money awarded to the Administrative Office of the Courts, which is the state.
Absolutely, I got you.
All in favor? Thank you. It passes 5-0.
Moving on to the second request that obviously plays into this, and I think the documents I've sent have been, I will say there's a adjustment significantly downward. The equipment and supplies, as I said, $2,500 for 2 employees, especially an investigator that requires a vest, a firearm, ammunition. I'm not going to purchase a radio. My understanding is 911 is going to be doing some serious upgrades. I don't want to waste money and pay for a radio right now. But a vehicle was necessary. That was taken care of. Mr. Buster over in Fleet in finance and purchasing went ahead, and we've already actually taken care of that. And I think I let the chairman, Mr. Baines, know as well about that. That was something that Buster said we needed to act on very quickly. I think there was some additional funding that was already available to do that. I did the same thing over in Walton County as well. I also have been able to obtain, it's a total of 8 laptops, 16 monitors, and all of the necessary things for additional computers from additional state ARPA money. So I'm reducing some of the costs, but obviously with hiring those 2 employees, the $2,500, that's not enough money to buy desks and all the other necessary things. So I'm requesting, like I said, it'll be a little bit of a different what I put in what I sent y'all last week, I think. But total for the investigator, what I'm asking for is an additional $4,000 for equipment and supplies. Obviously, as I said, investigators are sworn police officers. They're deputized by the sheriff's office. Vest, firearm, desk, printer, which I don't have. I do have all the other computer necessaries except for a scanner. Then the vehicle that I said has already been purchased is $5,000 to then outfit that vehicle with all the necessary additional law enforcement package. And then $2,000 for the investigative assistant. And so that is a total of $11,000, I guess, amendment to, I don't know if it'd be the general operating fund in my budget or small equipment. I don't know if it necessarily matters which of the additional funds it goes into. And then an additional $1,500 for fuel as we're buying another vehicle. I think it's just appropriate to adjust the fuel budget up a little bit. So that'd be a total of $12,500 that I'm asking for additional in my budget to address specifically those 2 new employees once they are hired, as well as the additional fuel costs that is necessary for having an additional vehicle and additional employee. So I will answer any specific questions about that as well.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanders.
I was trying to write down a number. So is this
I talk fast.
already, maybe Brittany can answer that, I don't know. Is this already in the budget or this is additional for what?
Yeah. Bridget, can you thank you.
It's not currently in the budget, so what the plan is to wait and to see when he actually hires the positions. So then that way we can actually, this is, I guess, worst case scenario, but if it's 3 months out, 2 months out before he hires the position, then we won't need this much in this fiscal year. So the plan was to just kind of wait and see when he hires the positions and then just transfer what he needs.
What was the total?
The total was $12,500. And I guess, and Brittany's correct. I mean, that would, for the fuel especially, that would be if we hired the person today. Obviously, no matter when we hire them, they're going to need a gun, ammo, vest, desk, all those sort of things. But some of those costs, especially the fuel costs, would come down if we're not able to hire somebody. Although I have an investigator opening right now for City of Oxford, stole one of my investigators. And I've already gotten in, 10 resumes for the other investigator opening I have, so I don't think the investigator position will be hard to fill.
Okay.
So just to make sure I have this correct. So the investigator is coming from the state budget, right? You have a state grants.
Yes, ma'am, from the grant.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, this is additional supply and equipment costs for the vehicle, to outfit the vehicle with all the necessary law enforcement things as far as tent, lights, sirens, all those additional things, the radio mount, all that, costs about $5,000. Then it's an additional $4,000 for investigator equipment and supplies, $2,000 for the investigative assistant, and $1,500 for fuel.
So Brittany, what budget would this be, well, what is would be coming out of if this?
We would need to do a budget amendment, so we would need to probably take it from contingency more than likely.
That's all the questions I have.
Anyone, Commissioner Edwards?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So essentially, Brittany, this is like a matching, if the grant, if the ARPA type grant money, correct, for the position?
From the state, yes, sir.
So this is essentially matching money to outfit that particular position, correct?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily match. I think it sounds like they just didn't give 5,000. Is that what they gave?
Right, they only gave 5,000 total
Yeah.
for equipment and supplies that's 4 positions and 2 different, total.
Okay.
And that just doesn't cover when we hire somebody.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I guess my question would be, we don't have an agenda item for this particular vote, right? Will we need to amend the agenda or table it for a meeting?
Well, it kind of, it's here.
The agenda does include a budget amendment request. So I do think this budget, or the agenda item, I'm sorry, had 2 different items, requesting approval to accept the state ARPA grant, which you just did.
Yep.
And then along with a budget amendment request that you're being requested to do now.
Yeah. Thank you. Commissioner Edwards?
And one more question, I'm sorry. So the 12.5 would be, I think Brittany called it worst case. I mean, it goes down daily, right, in terms of if it takes you 2 months to hire that person, then the attending supplies would go down. That would be relevant to whenever we hire that person, correct?
Yeah, mainly fuel, but, I mean, everything else, the package for the vehicle, like you said, the gun, the desk, that's all pretty standard costs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Sanders?
I'm just making sure I get all my questions answered. So you saying it's worst case scenario, so it wouldn't be feasible to vote on this tonight because he doesn't know if he actually needs these funds. Should we vote on it to when there is a need? Am I correct? I'm just trying to understand.
My suggestion is to maybe tonight to just give, I guess, your blessing that you are okay with him moving forward on this. And then when he does hire the positions and we know how much he needs when they actually come in, then I can bring an actual budget amendment to transfer funds. Since more than likely we'll be moving the money from contingency, I'd like to not move more than what we need to.
Commissioner Mason?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you're basically saying, Brittany, that like we talked about, the 12.5 would be worst case scenario. So say, for example, we only needed 10,000 at the time that our DA hires these individuals, then we've already approved for you to move the monies, but then you'd come back to us with that amendment to say, hey, we didn't need the 12.5, we only needed the 10,000. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I couldn't remember, can you tell me if you remember how much we have in contingency? Do you remember right off the top of your head?
I want to say it's around 300, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
300,000.
Right.
Yeah. Please don't say that. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. Well, I think we should help the district attorney and give him what he needs in order to fight crime here in Newton County. But I can't remember when the sheriff came over and we told him to get some calls, and he haven't even got them yet. You know, and so I'm just saying, why can't they all just kind of get together? You know, district attorney, officer, sheriff, I know different departments, and just come to us and tell us exactly what we need, and we supply that need for them. Because I don't feel good. We need to go ahead and prove it. I'm just saying that we also need to go ahead and make sure the sheriff get there what he needs also as well, and so forth. I don't believe that he has gotten everything that we raised our hand up for him to get. And if I'm wrong, we can bring him in and ask him, or call him, ask him personally. But we need to make sure that all our, I want to say law enforcement, probably wrong word, Mr. District Attorney. We need to help them make sure that their needs are taken care of.
Guys, let's take a motion, please. Can I get a second? It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor? Thank you. It passes 5-0. Thanks.
And I know, I guess it's what I sent in to you guys, and I'm not necessarily on the agenda, so if it's something we need to take up some other time, it's fine. And I'm not sure how to even go about doing this as far as requesting this from the board, but you know, obviously whenever you get a grant funded position, the biggest concern is hiring somebody with the idea of, hey, this is a one-year funded position, come work here, and you're not sure where to go from there. And so obviously there's something we need to address some other time. I kind of seek some of the board's guidance on that. But I'd be asking the board if it's even legally possible at this point. I'm not sure, as far as basically to commit to be funding the positions going forward. And I know that's a bit of an awkward thing because obviously budgets change and years change and things like that. But I also know that this county is getting another additional, say, $10 million or so of additional ARPA money. And I know that's probably something that we'll have to come back before the board for further requests. But I'd like the board to consider and start thinking about it, if it's not able to do so today, at some point soon, commit to these two positions being funded and going forward. And so that way, when I can hire people, which hopefully should be very soon, I can tell them, like, look, this is a position that is not just going to be you're done December 31st, you know, a short-term contract position. As I told this board, I think in December, the idea behind this position with the investigator is somebody who is focusing on gang crimes and violent gun crimes, which are are growing in this county. They're growing everywhere, and I hate to say that. But that is the idea. With gangs as well, the idea is that the person in that position is not just investigating cases, because they're doing a lot of that, but they're also going to be working with schools, going to schools, talking to young kids about gangs and things like that, and trying to educate the public as well. Because one of the issues we've had in both counties when we've had bigger operations that involve either local law enforcement or the feds is whenever somebody who's the head of a gang gets put in prison, people fill those shoes pretty quickly. There's got to be some work done on that end as well, not just on the prosecution end as well. Like I said, that was something I had sent to the board as well, and the request that I had sent as far as funding that position going forward. Like I said, I kind of seek a little bit of guidance from you all, the chairman and county attorney's thing as far as how to best even ask for that at this point. But I think it's something that's very important for this county.
And I agree with you. But now that isn't on the agenda tonight. So let's do the budget transfer. Let's find out what we got to have to make this complete. And when we bring that back, that's an opportunity you can come back and ask. It'll be something that we can put on the agenda. You can come back and ask the board, how can we move forward with that?
Well,
okay, all right, that works.
Thank you guys very, very much. I hope you guys have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is IT. Greg, if you're here tonight. Requesting approve to accept, IT requesting to approve of a contract for the admin building emergency power design phase with Sunbelt. Thank you guys for being here tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What you've got before you is a design build contract from Sunbelt Builders for an emergency power system retrofit to the administration building. for $27,500.
Okay. Guys, I seek a motion. Thank you, sir. It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Edwards. Commissioners, any discussion? Here we go. Commissioner Sanders.
I had the opportunity to look at all three of the bids, and I noticed that the other two bids bid high on the contract and yours was the lowest. Is there gonna be a need to come back for additional funding for that project based on what was submitted? Ms. Randy actually sent me the bids so I can look at all of them.
Absolutely. So we do a two-part contract on the design build. So this $27,500 is for them to do pre-construction and design services and to develop what we call a guaranteed maximum price for the construction. After they've completed that step and we have that budget estimate from them, that GMP, then we will bring that back to the board, ask you to amend their contract for said construction services to actually do the work itself.
So basically, the other two contracts that were sent in were actually given the price for the whole entire project, because theirs was like 3 times higher than.
They just had a higher design cost than what we had for Sunbelt. But we vetted all three teams, and we have since met with the design engineering team for Sunbelt. They have all the qualifications and background and experience of what we're asking them to do. Matter of fact, the engineer that we're working with has just completed with Sunbelt, if we move forward with them tonight, had just completed 3 similar projects for other governments around the state. So we're just getting a better value with the Sunbelt team.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just want to just do more of a comment than more of a question. Sunbelt has been in the community ever since I can remember. You know, there's been a few people or several people who have passed through from Sunbelt, and there's been a whole lot of, in my opinion, a whole lot of quality projects that they have did for Newton County. And I think that's good.
Thank you. Well, guys, let's take a motion. Is already a motion? Any more discussion? All in favor? It passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is item number 13, a resolution R011822, a resolution by the Board of Commissioners of Newton County setting qualifying fees for the 2022 election and authorizing publication of the same. Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Every year that there is an election for a county office, the Board of Commissioners is required by the Georgia Constitution to establish the qualifying fees. The qualifying fees are actually set by state law. So there's really nothing for you to do except adopt the resolution that's been presented to you that sets the qualifying fees for County Commissioner Districts 2 and 4, County Board of Education District 1, 3, and 5, and sets those fees according to law.
Thank you, sir. Guys, I'll seek a motion, please.
Mr. Chair.
So moved and stated by the county attorney.
We got one question.
Yes, sir.
I was going to make the motion, actually.
Okay. He made the motion. You want to second the motion?
Yes, I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay. The motion.
It's okay.
The motion by Commissioner Henderson, and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. Ms. Patrick, could you publicly state the fees?
You want me to call what those fees are? It should be in your agenda packet. It was in mine. A county commissioner qualifying fee is $750. Board of Education qualifying fees are $432.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor? Thank you. It passes 5-0. Next is item number 14, board discussion consideration of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Covington regarding the sale of approximately 35 acres from the Newton Covington Industrial Park. Patrick.
Thank you, Chair. The county and the city of Covington together own 34 acres, 34.928 acres in the Covington Newton Industrial Park. That property has been contracted by the city to be sold to a third party. The agreement proposed to you would allocate 50% of the net proceeds to the county and authorize the county to allow the city to proceed with the transaction. The city will be adopting this intergovernmental agreement, I believe, at their next board meeting as well.
Thank you, sir. Guys, I seek a motion, please. Sorry.
It's right on the line. No, I'm just gonna say this before I make the motion. I think under the new map, if all of us unanimously approve it, that section will go to Commissioner Cowan. And because I'm going over just a little bit further, but make a long story short, right now it's still in District 4. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this contract as stated by the county attorney.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a second? Thank you. There's been a motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. This is a contract is for us. I think has already been approved by the city of Covington, and it's a contract that we think is going to be good for Newton County. Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor? It passes 5-0. Thank you. Next, GIS Resolution R011822B, consideration of 2022 Newton County Commission and School Board District Map. Patrick.
Before you tonight is a resolution to approve the district map that Mr. Lawrence has presented to you on a couple of occasions. What this resolution will do is indicate to the local legislative delegation and to the Georgia General Assembly your approval of the map, and it will request that they introduce that map during this current session and support it through the process. And the map is over here. It's the same map that you have seen, and it's been discussed at least twice now, I believe, right, Mr. Lawrence?
3 times. Thank you. Gotta seek a motion, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards, and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I'm not mistaken, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Patrick, in order for us to have an approval of this map, it has to be unanimous.
The law does not require it to be unanimous. However, as a general rule, a local legislative delegation expects something to be unanimous before they present it on behalf of the county. So I would expect, and I can't say this with absolute certainty, but I would expect that if it's less than unanimous, your local delegation may not pursue it diligently. That would be my expectation.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think Tim is here. I had a question.
Go ahead. Come on up, Tim.
Evening, Board. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim. Who was the map actually presented to? Do we know who this particular map was presented to?
Yes. This map in a prior draft was presented at a joint work session with your board and the Board of Education at the Board of Education on October 26th. Minor revisions to it were presented handed to you in a packet in late December, and presented again last week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago here, and I presented the map to the Board of Education last Tuesday.
I'm sorry, I think you may have misconstrued my question. Not on a local level, who is this presented to on a state level?
I don't have an answer to that. I know that the State Office of Congressional and Legislative Reapportionment drafted the map for us.
Okay.
And that's the map that I had presented to you all.
So basically, this is just a proposed map. This isn't the final.
Correct.
So Commissioner, if I could add to that, there are things we know and things we don't know. So what we know is that the map presented to you was prepared by the State Reapportionment Office and has been approved by the State Reapportionment Office. That office is a department of the General Assembly. We, being neither myself nor Mr. Lawrence, have presented that map to any state official because we cannot say that this map has been approved by the county. Neither of us have the authority to go to your legislators and say, here's the map we want you to adopt because this board has not spoken. So we, being the county staff, have not presented the map to anyone at the state level. That's what we know. What we don't know is whether or not the State Reapportionment Office has shared or presented that map with any member of the General Assembly or anyone else at the General Assembly. What we also don't know is whether they have prepared alternative maps at the request of any member of the General Assembly, because that office maintains confidentiality. So if a member of the General Assembly, a member of the either party leadership at the General Assembly has asked that office to prepare alternate maps, they will not tell us unless and until that map is introduced to the General Assembly. So to answer your question, no one at the county has presented this map to anyone at the state. We don't know if this map or any other map has been circulated at the state capitol.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, to address what county attorney was just speaking on, I know the reapportionment committee had communicated the most recent maps with Senator Brian Strickland and Representative Dave Belton. I know those two, and they indicated that the entire delegation for Newton County had been communicated these new maps. I don't know if that's true or not. They just had an indication to me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mm-hmm. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I think we came over to your office and we talked a little bit about, and it was just about the property, the portion that was rezoned as far as Mr. Williams, the piece of property goes, and how that would change from District 4 to District 5. And a few of my constituents called me, similar to the town of Alfred, mayor, and said that they wanted to stay in District 4. And so, maybe we could look at, if it's okay with the board, look at maybe somewhere or another keeping those people in District 4.
But it's not going to be.
All right, guys. Hey, guys. Any more? I'm about to call for the vote. All in favor? All in favor? All opposed? It failed 3-2. Thank you. Next item is item number 17, the final reading, CVS. I'm sorry? Yeah, it failed. Yeah, 3-2. You need me to call him again? You good? Final reading, CVS 4192 Salem Road, Covington, Georgia 316. Applicant Tisha Reid, District 3. Final reading. I seek a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a motion by Commissioner Sanders, a second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. First reading, Walmart store number 4558, 4200, Salem Road, Covington, Georgia, 316. Applicant, Shantayla Trail White, District 2, first reading. Next is item number 19, citizens' comments. This opportunity that we allow citizens to come up and make comments. You have 3 minutes to do so. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. Citizen comments. Citizen comments. Thank you. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to plug just a couple real quick plugs here. You heard Recreation Director and a couple members of the staff and the Miracle League Board Chairman mentioned the Miracle League. I know there's not a lot of people in attendance here now, but we have a YouTube audience, I would hope. And I would encourage those people to find out how to get involved with that. If you've never been a part of that, that's really very inspirational. And I know that sounds selfish, but not only you're helping your community, but you'll be helping yourself greatly to volunteer for this and donate money for this cause. I plan to. Number two, Mr. Chairman's already mentioned it, but our road department did a wonderful job. They were ahead of the curve. I could see the little white lines in the road where they dropped the brine going down most of the roads, and in the rural parts of the county, that's very important for sure. And then last but least, I would like to say, how about them dogs? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dogs, baby. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to highlight the last Clean Up Newton project that we had this past Saturday. It was an amazing community cleanup that we had. We collected 25 bags of trash and 6 old tires that we collected. We cleaned up Butler Bridge Road and Oak Hill Road, all the way from Highway 81 to Smith Store Road in District 2. We are seeking additional volunteers for the Clean Up Newton project. We do have a Facebook page. Just look up the Clean Up Newton project. We'd love to encourage and motivate others in other districts, other areas. Schedule a cleanup. You can contact Keep Newton Beautiful. They'll help you with any supplies that you may need. They have masks, they have trash bags, they have gloves. They have basically everything you need. They have the vest that you can wear. And so they have everything that you need to be able to help. And so we're going to be planning our next one for the month of February. And I'll be posting that out on social media through my social media pages. So look out for those. And it'll probably be towards the end of February. So we're looking to have more volunteers. Feel free to reach out to me. And we'd love to have your support to help clean up and keep our community beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sanders.
First, I want to say thank you, Mr. Chairman, for submitting a proclamation where I was able to present it to the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta sorority to make January 13th Delta Sigma Theta Day. So I want to thank you for that. As well as I want to thank my neighbors in District 3 for being very active and being concerned citizens in Newton County, keeping me on my toes and telling me what they want and what they do not want in the county. So I really do appreciate that. And also I want to shout out a student at Newton High School who also was a good friend of my daughter, Xavion Shepherd. I don't know if you all watched the BOE meeting where we had an actual student go to the meeting and present to the board what they want to see in their school district. So I want to give a shout out to all of the centennials out there who are involved in politics, involved in their community, and doing great things in Newton County.
Thank you. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I too would like to thank the road department for the pictures that they posted. From my wanting to come down and ride, occasionally, if a commissioner wanted to ride in the sheriff department car, they could contact the sheriff and do a ride along. In my case, I contacted Chester, and I didn't get a ride along, but I got into the barn and kind of just went in. But I think that it's about services, and you know, I believe in the men. You know, I'm pretty sure they do what they do. But I think you know, there's nothing wrong with a commissioner, especially in the absence of a county manager, to do a ride along in the inclement weather to kind of just see firsthand what's going on in our county. And secondly, and lastly, you know, we need to do something for our kids, you know, in the community, especially the underserved part of the community in Newton County. Those kids have nothing to do. They run in the summertime. They don't have no kind of activity. They can't afford to play rec. But make a long story short, I think this time we're going to put forth an extra effort to really have stuff our kids do in the summertime. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cowell. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Guys, thank y'all for being here tonight. There is a need for executive session tonight. Personnel matters. I do not think we're going to have a vote tonight. So thank y'all for being here tonight. I seek a motion that we move into executive session, please. Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason, second by Commissioner Sanders. All in favor? Thank y'all. We stand in executive session.